Me, all right.
We'll wait for the TV to change.
Should be 4, not 8. Maybe right, I'm sorry. Lots of more than that. We need that permission to follow.
Good to go? All right, welcome everybody to the Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 planning board meeting. Agenda was minutes of the 24th, which we cannot do this evening. We got old business, formal site plan review, Just Right Inc. and Autumn Inc. Bakerstown Roads, map 13, lots 9B and 10. New business, we have none. We will hold off on doing the board reorganization until we have more of the permanent members. And then any other business, then we shall adjourn. So, all right, old business then. Let's get back into the site plan, please. If you want to refresh the board a little bit, and we have a bunch of information from the party reviewer. Going back to your responses back to
Okay,
other meetings.
I haven't seen those yet. Scott was on vacation, so I didn't get a copy of those, but
Okay.
we can certainly talk about them if you want to. My name is Rick Meek. I'm with Teradyne Consultants, civil engineer for this project. Brian is here to answer any questions. So since the last time, we responded to Jim's original comments, and we talked about those at the last meeting. I think we addressed all the ones that we could at meeting, but I put that in writing in my response. We submitted the entrance permit that was existing and the NRPA stream busing permit by rule application that was submitted last year. The biggest change we talked about last time was, and I can go over that in more detail, is the reduction of the road length. Originally, as you may recall, originally the road extended pretty close to the end of this right of way with a proposed hammerhead in this remaining piece of Autumn Inc. Jim put out correctly that we were over 20,000 square feet for two buildable lots with the retained land for Autumn Inc. We thought that this permit was going to be excessive, so we reduced the road length to roughly 600 feet. That reduced the impervious to over 15,000 square feet. We revised the plans to show the profile of the road to better be in line with the collector conditions or standards, including K values and for curves, excellent grades, with the intent that in the future, that if this road gets built, then it's set up for that extension. We've addressed some of the other comments that the board had, and maybe I heard you talking about it before the meeting, just to explain, there was some confusion last time about the configuration of the property. And so we updated this plan to include this. This is the original property line, and this piece fronting Bakerstown Road was, the size of that rectangular shape owned in the name of Just Right Inc. The remaining piece, including this segment down here, and that piece is owned by Autumn Inc. So we've got Just Right along Bakerstown Road and Autumn Inc. Brian, of course, is the owner of both of those entities, and so he's done a transfer of land, and this piece here is being transferred from Autumn Inc. to create Lot A on the left side of this proposed road. This triangular piece here is being transferred from, or has been transferred from Autumn Inc. to Just Right to create Lot B. The right-of-way, or proposed right-of-way, this piece here up to the original property line is transferred from Just Right to Autumn Inc. And so Autumn Inc. will retain control of that, that proposed right-of-way. And each of these lot owners, lots A and lots B, will have deeded rights to that roadway. And they're prevented from, because there's an entrance permit here, and because of site district requirements and whatnot, DOT would prevent, and we're limiting that these two lots cannot have access to Bakerstown Road. Their access will be off of this private street. Hopefully that clarifies some of the confusion from last time. We did make some changes to the plan that you received. I noticed some graphical errors in the plan. I talked about those. I heard you discussing the number of board members tonight. Is this voting night or?
Yeah, it's voting night.
Okay. So if the board, if we can satisfy the board's questions, we'd certainly appreciate an approval, whether that's conditioned or just a plain approval. And I'd be happy to review some of those questions that came in since our submission, resubmission.
So I apologize, it was my understanding that you had received that right there that I just brought in. And so I apologize, I was out last week and it was my understanding that you had gotten. So that was a snafu between Scott and I having vacations back to back, and I apologize to both of you for that. And that is what it was, what the board has, it was
So I have
last
all
minute.
this right here.
Okay. Yes, that right there.
I didn't even notice. Were you on vacation?
It was a vacation, yes,
I hope you enjoyed it.
yes,
The good weather.
yes.
Okay, so you want me to just go right through these, or how would I like to proceed?
I mean, we've had a chance to read through this, we had it in our packet. I think it's fine, I mean, if you wanna read through it yourself real quick, or look, I mean, there's nothing here other than, I don't know, did the name change on the road?
So, yeah, so we were planning on Jessica Way Extension, being that it may, someday in the future connect to Jessica Way, but certainly that's an understandable comment, and we can come to a different name. I just would, is it possible to, if we name this Fred Way, when they connect eventually, does Fred Way go away, or how does that work?
Then you just
Okay.
submit a new plan, I mean, half of this has nothing to do with us, but there's another Fred Way.
Sure, yeah.
So,
Oh,
you can, it's actually Fred Way.
Bill,
Whatever.
yes.
Part of it has to do with E911
sure,
stuff,
yes.
and, I mean, we don't want people going the wrong direction.
Understood.
So
yeah.
even like in New Gloucester, you got Estes Road and North Estes Road and South Estes Road. Sometimes they don't connect, and I'll give you an example, type in my address in the town of Poland, it sends you to my neighbor's house every time.
Yep.
So it's more of a, emergency thing
Mhm.
of not having confusion with those folks in case something occurs. But I think as a placeholder name, it's, a conditional thing anyhow, because you'd have to come in with a road name application. We'd have to sign off on it, we'd have to kick it up to the select board, they'd have to sign off on it. So that's nothing's gonna hold anything up, but yes, I think it would be,
Yes, it could be
it
reviewed.
would be better to have something that's not as familiar.
Well,
Yes.
it wouldn't be confusing, right?
Yep, understood.
Same name, Jessica Way.
So, I guess a couple of things. I'm not a civil engineer. I don't deal with the state, thank God. They probably kill everybody up there. This driveway entrance permit, is that the same as road entrance permit?
Yes,
Good, so that's the vernacular that they use on that.
correct.
So once again, it's sold a 20-foot wide because of, this was driveway permit for a house, I guess, originally, because it was under good ownership.
No, it's a permit for up to 5 lots. That's what the permit says.
Right, but it was for a previous client.
So, no.
So
Brian,
it says-
the
so
name
the
on it,
owner
name
is
on it.
Stephen, whoever, that's not Brian, that's not Autumn Inc., that's not, I guess that's my first question, I'm just
Reference.
asking you.
Oh, that's the people I bought the lot from, that the DOT wanted to put it in their name because I hadn't quite closed on it yet.
So that's, once again, I don't deal with the state, you guys are civil engineers, that's obviously transferable with the property. Runs with the land or not?
certainly, yes.
And that was for them. And that was the original square lot that was on 11.
Correct, at this location.
So then, I don't know if this gets too much in the minutia, but as a driveway permit into that, I don't know why he said it could be over 5.
I'm not sure either, because he told me it was fine for the subdivision, if I move forward.
So in bold there in that first paragraph, driveway or to a multifamily 5 or less at a point.
So it's basically saying it's a mile down the road, under 0.8 of a mile from North Ring Road.
Correct.
So that's fine, but once again, this would have to change if this ever goes forward.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Okay, that's, and once again, I don't know why it's set out that way. Okay. But once again, I don't deal with the people in Scarborough. So there's something in number 6, if you want to quickly read that. I think that had to do with your color coordinated stuff here, with the confusion on that.
So, this shading here, the cross hatching, in this area, right off Bakerstown Road, Lot A, and this area, between the west and the building envelope is just a straight cross hatch, that's a proposed forested buffer. The yellow, in the road and on some of the shoulders is untreated. This greenish shading here is a buffer adjacent to a residential, or this is the area of the area of the residential that is treated by this buffer. This orange hatching is the area that is treated by a buffer after going through a stone level lip spreader. The red area is a buffer, the area that is treated by a buffer adjacent to a downhill side of a road. So, so this little area here and this little area here are treated by this buffer and this buffer. And the blue is wetland crossing, so that the wetland impact that we're proposing. Are there any other?
So where's the building envelope for B?
Building envelope B is here. So in this orange area is this area is treated by this level lip spreader in this buffer. So the building envelopes are not shown directly, but this is the buildable, or the area that is treated by that buffer. And this is the area that's treated by this buffer.
Right, but I mean, we need to know where the building envelope is. I mean, was that part of the previous packet?
Yeah, so the building envelope on the subdivision plan or the recorded plan, So the building setbacks are defined, you know, side setback and front setback, so this is the building envelope for this lot. This is the building envelope for lot B. This is the sheet C 1.1.
Yeah, I see it right now. So the building envelope, wherever it occurs within that, the square footage of that being your buffer is not affected by the building envelope. Because you're saying you're treating all the stuff within this.
So this part, just keep in mind that this is the building envelope from
Mhm.
within those setbacks. That area is also that with this green
Like the green
shading.
area,
So if the house is built here, it's treated by this buffer. If the house is built here, it's treated by this buffer. If the house is built here, it's treated by this buffer. So the house can go anywhere in that building envelope and is treated by this buffer that's.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but when I see something green, it says buffer adjacent to residential, it seems like that whole green area is your buffer, and it's not your building envelope, that's coming across to me that you're saying, here's the buffer, but we're putting the house in that, that's why I was asking the square
Okay.
footage of the envelope
Okay, I understand your
is
question now.
into your calculation of phosphorus and all this other stuff, because it seems like that was your buffer, but it's not. Buffer is actually going into,
This, we can certainly
Yeah, I mean, that would
relabel
be
it
helpful.
so it's clear, but this is the buildable area that's treated by this buffer, so
yeah, okay.
this area is treated by this buffer.
Mhm.
We can
All
certainly.
right, so the green's gonna be treated by the hash to the left, the orange of the one on 11's can be treated by the one on the other side of the driveway. That one there is gonna be treated on the hash thing.
Sorry, no, there's a buffer here, level lip spreader buffer here. This,
Okay.
so this buildable area is treated by this buffer here. This buffer really is, because the building envelope, there is a building envelope here that's available. Brian's not proposing to build there, and we're also using a portion of, for the buffer adjacent to this piece of road. So we patched this whole thing as a buffer, because he really is not gonna be able to build in this portion of the lot.
So there's something here on number 9 too about having it on a plan that the owner's gonna retain the right of way. So that seems like I was looking to have that as a note on the plan as well.
Sure.
I'll ask anybody on board here if they have any questions before I get into a few more.
Are those, I mean, so what the actual, you're calling, you know, has building, what are the actual lot sizes that you, that, of these lots that are being built on? Do you have that?
I don't know if I understand your question correctly, but so the lot size of lot A is 6.69 acres.
Okay,
The lot size of lot B is 2.0 acres.
okay,
Minimum lot size 80,000 square feet.
right. Well, that's what I was asking, is what you were proposing there as far as the lot sizes, though your lot B, I think it is, or is that A, will be
B
the
is the one.
largest lot, right?
Yeah, lot A is the largest lot on the left side of the road, 6.69 acres, and lot B on the left side, including this triangle piece up here, is 2.01 acres.
Okay,
I think I was the one that asked this question the last time, because I didn't see it on the plan, that it was, I think, on the previous plan. So once again, this is Lot B of the let's just call it 2 acres. That's subtracting the right of way, it's subtracting out wetland, that's subtracting out all that, correct?
Lot area is simply lot area. You're talking about net residential density? Which
No, I'm
question?
talking about, I take that back, this isn't, but you're creating new lots. Let me look at that. You guys can discuss them this yourself.
Will there be any lighting involved in the entrance of this subdivision, or this road, rather? Any lighting to?
We haven't proposed any.
Any lighting there, okay. And it'd be a dirt road, is somewhere, it's gonna be owned by the Automaker, right?
Correct.
Okay. But is there, Automaker will maintain, so is there any type of maintenance agreement between them and the other lot owner? Will there be any maintenance agreement?
There certainly will be, if we have further development, then they will be deeded, they'll have to be part of the road association.
Okay, but at this point, if it's just that lot and you, that we're talking, we'll say, are you planning to build in the back, is that my understanding or not? Or are you building 2 homes there?
Just 2 homes for now.
Okay, yeah. So, but there'll be something between the 2 homes as far as some type of maintenance agreement?
There will, and before I deed it to somebody, it will be in the deed that they have to be part of a road maintenance
Okay,
agreement.
there'll have to be some maintenance agreement in writing between them, is
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
then will be.
Okay. And it being a gravel road, I mean, what is the plan for its control? Is that something that you have, were you addressing that with the owners of the lots or anything?
No, I hadn't thought of it.
I'm just thinking, we had another gravel road, didn't we, Jim, that we had, something like that with dust control. Maybe,
During construction, we put calcium down, we need to, right?
During construction, but yeah. Okay. It's like I had other questions, so I was just looking where I made my note for it. No, I can't see it right there.
So just so I'm clear, if you look at the diagram that you have up there, at the end of the road that comes in past your hammerhead turnaround, where it's shaded, right there, everything up into Autumn, everything up into whatever that is, Autumn Inc. then, and that little triangle are part of Autumn Inc. then?
Are you talking about?
I'm not talking about the right of way, I'm talking about the piece that's, that little triangle that goes from there to there, back to the road.
Again, this is the original property line between.
Yeah.
So this triangular piece being.
It's saying that.
Has been transferred from Autumn Inc. to right, so this triangular piece is part of this lot.
I mean, once again, just forgive me, because when I look at this stuff, it's hard for me to see, easier to see on that. When I see a dashed line here, it looks like the dashed line does not include that.
So I've got this dash line, or originally it had this as a property line, but
Mhm.
I've changed it to a dash line and added this note off to the left. Existing property line to be vacated. So this line is no longer exists. It was just the original property line between the Just Right piece and the Autumn Inc. piece. And now since this line is going away, this whole area is part of Lot A, and this triangular piece and this piece are Lot B. I can remove that, this line was included because it was an existing property line. But I can remove it from this plan since it no longer exists. And
Well, it's still gonna be the division between A and B until you hit road, correct?
no, the road is, yes, the right of way is dividing A and B, but
Okay, that's right, that was the problem at the last time, so it's basically that weird, quarter of an ellipse and triangle are creating a lot.
correct.
All right, that needs to be a hell of a lot clearer on this. However, you have to do it on the site.
Sure.
And like you're saying, if it's just a matter of scratching this dashed area here, that would be helpful. Plus, if you look at any assessing stuff ever in town, you have something going to something else and it's like it's close, whatever, you have a little damn arrow and a little damn arrow saying,
Sure.
this is still part
Sure.
of that, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I can certainly add this same
Yes, okay.
label up here so that
Yes,
this is
okay.
labeled as Lot B with the
Yeah.
area and that same label's here.
And I think that's the questions that I had for you at the last meeting that I got confused about, because it seemed like that was the way it was breaking and.
Now, I apologize.
Yeah, no. So I'm getting back into, space and bulk standards here. And it says calculating minimum lot area. So that's why I think George was asking you what the square footage of the lot is, because it's, so in order to calculate the minimum lot area, you need 80,000 square feet, correct? You're at 87,000.
Correct.
So it says, and below the normal high water line of a water body or upland edge of wetland beneath roads and right of way shall not be calculated. So the right of way is not part of that then, because that's not gonna be going across that lot, correct? Is that going across lot B?
No. So we've got Lot A, we've got the right of way, and we've got Lot A, got the right of way, and we've got Lot B. They're not, there's not a lane that's part of the right of way that's part of either one of these lots.
Okay. And then the square footage, the wetland on that piece is not gonna be more than 7,000 square feet.
Certainly on Lot A, this wetland area is larger than that, but I don't have the numbers for that. What's the?
Well, all I'm saying is any lot that's created in town as a building lot has to meet space and bulk standards.
Yeah, so,
And,
well,
and so imagine you have that big piece, which is Lot A. Say that was 7 acres of land, of which 6 acres was wetland, then that's not a building lot,
okay.
because you have to have enough upland land.
I thought there was a provision about a 100-foot diameter circle.
No, it's not, I don't think it's gonna be an issue here. What I'm saying to you is, you need enough upland stuff. There's a little bit that can be waived by the code office, and there's more that we can aid, but I don't think it's gonna be an issue here.
We discussed that with the surveyor, and I think we're all set.
Well, you know what I always say, Brian, not that I don't trust you, I don't trust anybody. You know, a surveyor could tell me, surveyor could say, hey, you know, this is a 5% salt back here, and we all know it's not, so.
Well, so.
But I don't think that's gonna be an issue here, but I just wanna make sure that the upland is gonna give you the,
Okay,
is gonna give you the square footage that you need.
we can provide that number.
So, the only question I have for you is I understand why it's being done this way. It's a financial issue because you're gonna trigger certain thresholds by trying to do more road, more lots, more this, more that. I understand that. I'm trying to get to the point that we don't get down the road that, because it seems like after this hammerhead, we got a pretty steep incline, is that correct?
Yes.
So if this is further developed going forward, are these buffers gonna work I mean, I can't say that we have to force that because we can't, because you're coming in with a 2-lot thing. I'm just saying, is there capacity that lots going forward in the future, accessing it through this right of way, that those buffers and those lip spreaders and that treated area is gonna be able to treat all the road?
We have explored that, and yes, we believe we can, if the project goes, if the extension of the road goes forward, we believe we can meet those standards.
That's all I'm saying to you, because we just don't want this to turn into something where things change over, new people, whatever. It's just a matter of making sure that, because it seemed like this was all gung-ho to do 47, 40, whatever lots into, to be scaled down. And I understand, I mean, the economy and borrowing money, I mean, I understand that, but we gotta look at it from our point of view too, that we wanna make sure that there's the capacity that is gonna exist versus all of a sudden coming in and crying, we need waivers, we need this, we need that. And it's the same thing here. Obviously, Jim's comment was originally, and I think it got brought up the first meeting, or maybe it was the second meeting on the subdivision about overhead power versus, underground power. You don't need it here because it's not a subdivision. Subdivisions, we can waive it, but we don't usually. So, just so all those things are known up front, that if this gets developed going forward, there are gonna be issues that need to be addressed, and hopefully the issues that we're getting right now are to the point that we can go forward and believe those,
Well, let me ask a hypothetical, so we're proposing overhead for these 2 lots.
That's fine.
If Brian decides to move forward with a subdivision, would that power need to be put underground? Is that gonna be
I would certainly ask not to have underground. And with a cluster subdivision, it's not very practical, and we discussed that with the last 2 cluster subdivisions. We were able to do overhead because it's just not, doesn't work with a cluster subdivision. If we were a piano type lot subdivision, then it makes more sense, but it just doesn't work very well.
Well, once again, I'm just saying that's something that has to be addressed, that this board has the ability to waive, but once again, you go to a cluster subdivision, you're reducing your road, you're reducing your lot size. Instead of 5 acres, you're reducing that. You're reducing your cost of length of road. And so it seems like the developer wants the best of everything baked in. Not to say that it's would happen or wouldn't happen. I mean, precedent is precedent sometimes. But I'm just trying to tell you that you need to think of all these things. And it could be something of coming back saying, well, yeah, here's a hardship because it's all ledge up that way. Of course we say something, right? I'm just trying to tell you, it's not as simple as coming in and saying, we punched in 2 lots here, we're gonna come in with another design later on, we're gonna have some issues possibly dealing with the road runoff, all that stuff, the treatment buffers, and so forth. I'm just trying to make sure that you understand that that's gonna be something that will be looked at very, it's gonna be a strict interpretation of what needs to be done on that, so. Those are the main things that I saw with Jim's things here. And does anybody, other than who's, I think, talking about the cost of the road construction, he thought that was light. I don't know, I'm not in the business. I don't know if you had a chance to look at that. That's the last thing, it's number 12. You guys, Teradyne came up with what, 61 grand?
Yeah, and
Something.
Brian is gonna be doing the work himself, and Jim talks about labor costs, and and material costs, so there is some gravel that part of the road construction is cut, so there's gravel that's used, that cut activity, so Brian's already figured this out, what it's gonna cost him, so. That number.
Well, I mean, I understand that labor's gonna be down because he's building the road himself, but once again, I didn't know if Brian owned any pits, other than the fact that you're cutting stuff off from there. I don't know if the aggregate up that way is what it needs to be for the road, because, so since you're doing this as a driveway, are you gonna have third party look at this, just in case this is gonna be continued going forward? This is serving 2 house lots.
Yeah.
It's a driveway.
Yeah.
Do you want third party to come out and review this, test it, make sure that once you go forward, if you ever develop going forward, that this will currently meet the road standard without them coming out and boring it later?
If that's what.
I'm asking, I'm not saying you have to do it, but I'm just saying, this is one of these things that after the fact, after you sell these 2 lots, and you say, hey, we wanna punch in and do another 10 lots, first thing we're gonna ask is the road built to standard? Well, we don't know because we didn't have third party go out and look at your driveway, and at that point, we're gonna probably ask them to go
I
out
believe
and
they're
test
gonna
for it.
come forward no matter what, so I guess I don't need to do third party, just this.
Does anybody else have a question here? We have somebody from Sebago. Jim couldn't make here tonight, but does anybody here on the board have any questions? All right, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't catch your name when you wanted.
Yeah, my name is Bill Garish.
Okay, Bill.
I work with Jim, and
Yep.
I'm happy to provide any clarifications on his comments if you'd like. Have any questions?
No, was there anything in here that he had mentioned himself other than, the
You
red
pretty
highlighted
much
stuff?
hit everything. There was a couple things on number 5. I guess one, just thinking if, things do move forward, it would be helpful to have on the recorded plan, just the impervious surfaces numbers and the phosphorus export numbers, just so that information is there. If somebody moves forward, you don't have to go looking for it elsewhere. It's right there. Jim also suggested a note on the, just stating that the buffers will be included in a deed restriction and then clearly marked in field to prevent clearing of the buffers. On number 6.
Actually, can I stop you there real quick?
Yeah, certainly.
What is the normal way to clearly mark a buffer? Flagging fails,
Yep,
pins make it confusing as hell. You gotta have on lot A, you're gonna have a ton if you pin it. I mean, how traditionally is that done, other than a shape like this and it's written into the deed, so forth? Because we've had, I'll show you a subdivision in the town over here where everything was laid out, no cut, no cut, no cut, no cut. 2 or 3 times after the house got sold, everything got cleared to the road.
yeah,
So I think it behooves the developer and whatever in the deeds to specifically lay this out best as you can without making it astronomically expensive, or equally 3 seasons of the wind and snow that all your flagging's.
yeah.
So how is that traditionally done?
I mean, a couple of ways. Ordinances require, pins with red caps, or boulders or something like that. Another suggestion, or on number 6, comment, he thought it might be helpful to put the actual buffer limits on the recorded plan. That if it isn't actually marked in the field, it's in the deed, it's right on the recorded plan, and, that would, put the onus on the owners to say, okay, here it is, however you wanted to handle that, but not having it on the recorded plan could
Yeah, I
lead
mean,
to more
at least
confusion.
having it on the recorded plan, great, but once again, half these people don't even look at the
What it's
title, they
for.
don't, they don't employ people, they just
Yeah.
come in and they go, okay, Mr. Select Board Member, we didn't know about, consent agreement. And that's not, I mean, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And we wanna make sure that they are protected.
Yeah.
So, So I don't wanna make it onerous for the developer to have to pin everything like crazy, but, I mean, I guess like, something that's at least recorded, maybe with some distances. I mean, I'm not asking for tangents every friggin' curve or something, I mean, just, so it's kinda understood that, you know,
With that in mind, we try to, you know, it is still quite extensive, but we try to limit the definition of the buffer to a few segment lines, rather than every single jig and jog of the wetland and.
yeah. I think what here is fine.
Just to address his comment, we'll add something for, the buffer on the front part of lot A, where it's shown as the building setback, but that's really a buffer, so we can add something there as well.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're on number 6, so anything else?
Yeah, and the only other thing on number 6 on that, I guess, would be the left-hand corner of lot A. That building envelope was a little confusing, it's in the per area, so maybe
Yeah, so,
remove that.
yes, that will be removed from the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, okay. And, yeah, other than that, there was that, specific section 812.1 that required a note for private street. Wording is right in that section, so
Yeah.
that should be on the plan as well. And that was typically it.
All right, somebody else have any issues, questions? All right. How did we do this the last time? Was the checklist done, or did we table?
We tabled it, so we need to.
So we did
approve the
checklist and final?
Yes.
So other than the small things that we've been mentioned, either between the party reviewer and us about what needs to change on the plan there? Just some small things
Yes, yes. And
to be submit, I mean, we do it as a conditional that,
Yeah, would you have to accept that as that we're.
it saves the whole nother trip in, but,
Yeah, work
but
with
we're
staff
just,
and
work-
Sebago to
certainly.
make
Yep.
sure that they're okay with the plans.
Just for sheer curiosity on detail A, why did it have that property line not going back to the pin that deals with the right of way in from the handlock piece?
That was recommended by a surveyor. If, so.
So just, as I say, just sheer curiosity.
So these transfers are simply that, transfers from one abutter to or from the property owner to butter, vice versa. So so this is not subdivision. And so there was thought that that piece that extends out to Bakerstown could be broken off, and that would be the first division of the Autumn Inc. piece. The surveyor was concerned that if that line connected to that pin directly, then even though there's no distance measurement, this piece is connected to that piece, so this piece is part of lot, or could be interpreted as part of lot B. So it was just the surveyor's recommendation. did not go directly to that pin. Or that made any sense.
It does in a way that we don't really know the answer on, so. So where it says signs, it says not applicable, there is gonna be a sign there, obviously for the road.
Stop sign the street name, but I,
Yeah, well, and once again, I gotta fill in something here, so just make sure that that's gonna be labeled on that, just for this. I'll put that as received, because you're gonna have to do that. Easements. So once again, since this isn't a subdivision, we'll have to worry about, septics and things of that nature, different things.
Correct.
Is the site plan, we're gonna need to see where utilities are placed? And once again, it's not a subdivision.
So probably not, because it's not a subdivision. When you get to subdivision, yes.
Yeah. Alright. So you want me to put the table date on this, in this part of it? Or is it okay if it's written table
Yes,
there?
take your time. You should
Okay.
be fine.
Alright, I'll take a motion on the checklist, please.
Right, I'll make a motion that the checklist for formal site plan review, Just Right Inc. and Autumn Inc. at Bakerstown Road, map 13, and lots 9B and 10 is complete.
Second? All good. Discussion? All those in favor? All right, before we get into final approval, we have an audience member, Mr. Select Board Member. Do you have any questions, any concerns, anything here before we go through the final? We always ask the audience members, don't know if you're here for a reason or not. All right, one
Do
more.
we, well, do we need to, as far as we're doing this with conditions?
Yes.
Okay. One of the questions though is, do we need to address the performance guarantees or not, or is that, how are we leaving that? Because that should be, is that something we need to address as a condition of approval?
I don't think so, because obviously Brian's building his own road, he's doing all his own work, he's gonna use some of the fill he's got there, he's gonna have to buy the rest, I think Jim was looking at, if I was gonna be putting a road out back of my house, what the true cost would be, consider financial capability. This combination of capability and the labor, I think it's gonna add up to, and if not, I guess there's gonna be an issue with thing work.
Okay. No, I just wanted to ask that question, and just before I make the motion, a couple of the conditions I made notes of, defining the boundaries by removing that boundary line that's there on the plan, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then removing the old boundary.
doesn't matter in here, it'll have to change in here, you could,
We would like to have that done before, if this plan has to be recorded, then we'd like to do that before we record this plan. So
right, but in order to get that, you should just put in, where it says Jessica Wake's extension right there, just put in parentheses, just put in placeholder name to be brought in or something, because there's gonna be a form that we have to sign,
Okay,
obviously, which isn't even here yet.
Right.
But just so it says placeholder, and then on formal, when everything's done. Or once you guys figure out what the name's gonna be, just put it on the formal plan, and then you guys deal with the professional staff on that.
okay.
That will take care of that issue.
Are there any other conditions that you could think of, Sarah, that we need to add?
Just to highlight the buffer areas, so it's blatantly obvious to a 5-year-old that's buying these lots that there are conditions in the deeds that mention that these are, buffer areas that are not to be disturbed.
So, all right. Anything else we can think of?
It's road name, basically, and, yeah, I think this.
What's that?
Buffer areas that, remove old.
Yeah, remove the old boundary line, yeah.
Oh, I can't read this.
All set?
Yeah.
Okay. I make one that we approve the full site plan review for Just Right, Inc. and Autumn Inc., Bakerstown Road, map 13, lots 9B and 10, with the following conditions: that the old boundary lines be removed and the boundary lines of these lots be defined on the new site plan, and the road name will be to be determined later, I guess at this point you can say, and then the buffer area highlighted and defined, and then there'll be night walk or public hearing.
Second. Discussion, all those in favor? All right, so that is a formal, but it's truly a conditional formal that you have to obviously come back and deal with staff on everything.
Very good, big time.
Yeah, would you like any of your, I know it's not winter time, but you want any of your paperbacks to start firing? Do you need any of this for?
If we don't want them, we'll take
Print backs out, I mean,
We'll
that
recycle
clip
it.
might be 27 cents, you know, more than what I need.
We'll recycle them for you if you want.
Thank you very much.
Yep, well, you're welcome. Just slide those down, oh, actually, they'll come up. Wonderful, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Jackson.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, new business.
Election, right?
It is. Okay.
Thanks, nice to
You got any new business?
I don't have any new business. No. You?
New business on my end is.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Gentlemen,
Hey,
gentlemen,
Yeah.
Still recording, off the door, please. All right, new business, John, you hadn't had anything, I didn't have anything, George?
I'm good.
Sarah, anything coming in by now that you know of?
we'll have a meeting on the 22nd, I believe it's the next meeting. One is a solar project and the other is the UC properties down by the old spec building down that used to be Joe Semino's. UC Properties bought that, they also bought property behind it.
Another
and
25-acre piece.
they are coming forward with the road.
Who was that again?
Down by Talkan,
Yeah.
UC Properties bought what I call the spec building, and the property behind it that used to also be owned by Joe Semino.
Okay.
There was a right-of-way there, they now have control of that, and they are moving forward with getting that developed correctly so that they can sell the property and do whatever they want to do.
We don't know what they plan to do with it.
I do not have an inkling on that yet, no, but their first step obviously is DOT approvals and then getting our approvals and the road build to standards and those pieces, so.
And that was originally, isn't that where Auburn Housing was gonna be developed?
No, that's further down.
Further down.
Down past the sewer.
Yeah, that's just on the other side.
So they bought that with right of way between the two pieces. They gotta develop that, which means they gotta shut off the other one at the other end. And we'll see if somebody combines it. Now they don't have access to the building, so. Okay, all right, with that, that was any other business, so, and, as I mentioned previously, we don't have a quorum of the regular members.
Stole your plan.
Wow, it went and blew up, and then, so we'll wait for our next meeting where we have at least a quorum of the regular full-time members, to the reorganization, so I'll take one final motion then, please.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor? Wonderful.